Hello and welcome to Elden Ring. Today we're testing status effect buff stacking and we're doing some maths as well. We're going to be trying this with a standard unupgraded Greatsword. This is a basic Greatsword. Obviously I'm level 367 and I'm on New Game Plus here. So we'll see what a basic standard hit does. 169 for a normal standard swing with this weapon. So let's go and reset and we'll see what difference a status effect buff can make. Now the first question is, we're going to look at the Black Dumpling helmet. And the first question is, does having Sub-Madness build up activate it, or do you need to actually have hit the maximum on the build up and triggered Madness? So we're doing Howl of Shabriri. We've got Madness build up. This Howl of Shabriri does plus 25% damage. So we've got 211 there, which basically is the effect of Howl of Shabriri alone. So the Black Dumpling helmet there is doing absolutely nothing. We'll go back and we'll try again, but this time we're going to trigger the Madness. And we should expect to see a little bit more damage. So Madness is triggered now, and you'll see there's now a flickering red as well as a flickering orange thing on the character. 10% damage buff gives us 232, so now that's working. We've got Howl of Shabriri and the Black Dumpling helm both giving us an increase. 10% for the Black Dumpling helm and 25% for Howl of Shabriri. So the next question is, let's clear all the buffs first. Let's see what happens when we add the Lord of Blood's Exultation instead. So this is basically you get 20 seconds from the point of triggering bleed damage to do a hit, and that hit will have an increase. So we've triggered bleed damage with Seppuku and changed back to the same weapon. We've got 20% damage, giving us 202.8, which is 203, so that works. And you can see the red flickering is the thing that's showing that that's triggered there. We're going to go back and we're going to reset. So if we're going to be trying the Lord of Blood's Exultation, the other thing we can try is Vari's White Mask, which is actually works very much the same way, but it only gives you a 10% increase. However, it will stack with the Lord of Blood's Exultation. So we should be expecting about 187 from this hit. So we've got 186 there, 185.9. That works. You get 10%, but it only lasts for 20 seconds. So next up, we're going to try combining Vari's White Mask and the Lord of Blood's Exultation to see if these stack. And we should be expecting over 200 now with this hit. Remember, we only have 20 seconds to make that hit after we've done Seppuku. So we've got 223, so that's your 20% plus your 10%. And we're working with fairly small numbers here, but it's the percentages that we're interested in. We're going to try it with something a bit more meaty later on, just to show what a big difference 10% plus 20% can be. The next question though is, can we stack the Black Dumpling Helm with the bleed effect bonuses. So we're going to do this one first because the Black Dumpling Helm lasts longer. I think it lasts for 60 seconds. Then we're going to go for Varay's White Mask and quickly do Seppuku. We can see we've got the little red flickering effect to say the Black Dumpling Helm's work. So that's got the Lord of Blood's Exultation and Varay's White Mask working. So there we go. 306. We've got all the 10% damage for the Black Dumpling Helm, 10% damage and 20% damage for Varay's White Mask and the Lord of Blood's Exultation, and we've also got the 25% for Howl of Shabriri. So just clear those buffs now. We've proven that bleed and the madness can stack if you swap helmets. So we're going to do Howl of Shabriri. Then going to swap to the White Mask and do Seppuku. Now Golden Vow adds 15% damage, so we should see an increase of 15% over 303. So that's given us 353, so that works out. There's a sum if you want to pause the video and look at it. And this is really how buff stacking works. The thing you need to consider and the thing you need to look at is the timing. So if something only lasts for 20 seconds and something else lasts for 60 seconds, you need to start your routine with the thing that lasts 60 seconds and do the 20-second thing last. You can use Commander Standard, Rallying Cry with the Commander Standard instead of Golden Vow. It's actually a more powerful buff, but you get less time to work with to do it. So if you're trying to stack multiple buffs, you might find that Golden Vow cast early makes more sense. So this time we've done 358 base damage with the Greatsword plus 12. So what that really shows you is that doing that whole buff routine we did before, that gave us 353. So Howl of Shabriri, Black Dumpling Helm, Varay's White Mask, Lord of Blood's Exultation and Golden Vow equates to roughly raising a weapon by plus 12, just to give you an idea. So if we now do the same routine, we should see a similar increase to that 358. So we'll start with Howl of Shabriri with a Black Dumpling Helm. That's triggered. So now we're going to quickly do Varay's White Mask and Seppuku. Then we're going to do Golden Vow. And because we were getting to just a little bit over double the 169 base damage, we should be looking at just about double the 358. So we've got 747, so that works out. We're about doubling that damage. So obviously if you level your Greatsword up to plus 25, then you're going to get even more out of that by doing that buff routine, potentially the equivalent of it being about a level 37 Greatsword. So what we're going to try now is something a bit different. This time we're going to put on the Kindred of Rot's Exultation. And then we'll try the Mushroom Crown. In theory, the Mushroom Crown and the Kindred of Rot's Exultation should stack with the Black Dumpling Helm and Varnish White Mask and the Lord of Blood's Exultation, but it does require having both talismans equipped and quickly swapping helmets. Now, the timing on this one is the issue. It can take quite a while to poison yourself. If you need to poison yourself to trigger this one, the item you need to craft are fetid pots, and the difficult ingredient to get is the gold-tinged excrement. If you need to find it, you can go and get some from the bears in Limgrave. But you basically need to throw some of these pots at the ground until poison is triggered to get this helmet actually activated. So there we go, we've triggered poison, and you can see we've got those flickering red things. Now we're going to go for Black Dumpling Helm with Howl Shabriri. You could possibly make this work better by throwing down a Frenzied Flamestone to get your... So we've now got that triggered. Now we're going to go for Varnish White Mask. And we're going to do Seppuku. So in theory, we should be able to do even more damage now. We've got Golden Vow as well. All the poisoning and bleeding yourselves has done some damage, but this should mean we get a good hit. But it doesn't. That's exactly the same. The issue, I think, here is that Kindred of Rot's Exultation only gives you 20 seconds of increased damage. And to do all the Howl Shabriri and stuff takes more than 20 seconds. By the time you've poisoned yourself, got yourself Howl Shabriri, done your bleed damage, ran over and hit. In theory, it should work, but on that occasion, I don't think the timing was down. So we're going to try something a bit different now. We're low on fetid pots, so I can't be bothered to go and farm gold-tinged excrement. So we're going to have a look at a different setup. We're going to take those off. So we've got no bus at all now, but we're going to swap this weapon for something that's a bit more meaty. We're going to swap it for a Giant Crusher plus 24. And that's the Brick Hammer, that's the wrong one. That's the unupgraded Giant Crusher. So we need this one, which has got a nice skill on it called Royal Knight's Resolve, which means for one hit you get plus 80% damage, which will stack with all these that we're using. So we're going to try one hit with this. And we've got 615 base damage. So using the bleed and the badness status effect plus Golden Vow should more than double that. So we should be at sort of like 1300 odd for one hit. But we're going to use Royal Knight's Resolve. This is 80%, so that should take us to nearly 1,000 or so. 1,107, that is 615 times 1.8. So that is working as intended. Now we're just going to look at stacking that with everything else we're doing for what should be quite a big initial hit. So we're going to kick off with the Black Dumpling Helm, but we'll put Howl Shabriri on to make sure we trigger that madness status effect. And there you can see the little red flickering things. And I'm going to go for Varnish White Mask. And we're going to drop the Lord of Blood's Exultation on, if we can find it, somewhere down here. There we go. And we haven't got enough fetid pots, so we're just going to go for those two. So we're now going to do Seppuku. Then we're going to do Royal Knight's Resolve. Last thing before we do the attack. So we should have 2,310 there, but we didn't. We only had 1,850. I can only assume that the missing part is because the Black Dumpling helm had worn off, or the Howl of Shabriri had worn off by the time I was ready to do the hit. This is the issue you get when trying to stack all these buffs. It's a matter of timing them so that you've got as many buffs active at the same time. So you've got to do the ones that last longest first and then get through them all quickly. So we're going to try that again with exactly the same routine. And we're going to see if we can do the routine a little bit quicker now. We've got the stuff already equipped. And we're going to try and run up to them a bit quicker, get that hit in, and try and get that 2,310 damage that we're actually looking for. So there's your base hit again, 615. If we apply every buff that we've been using so far today, we should be able to get 2,300 damage. So we'll start with the Black Dumpling helm because it lasts for 60 seconds. Doing Howl of Shabriri as well, so that'll give us plus 10%, plus 25% for those two. Then if we quickly swap to Varys White Mask, and we do Varys White Mask and the Lord of Blood's Exultation, that'll give us another plus 10% and plus 20%. Then Golden Vow will give us another plus 15%. And now Royal Knight's Resolve give us plus 80%, and this should be 2,300 damage. There you go. 2,310 damage, exactly what we predicted. That is how this stuff works. If it's not working, the likelihood is you're either doing them in the wrong order or you're not getting through them quick enough. Obviously, there are ways we can push that up further, but these are the basic principles of buff stacking, particularly status effect buff stacking. Hope it's been useful. Hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and do consider checking out my all quests, all endings guide. I've made up to about part 27 or part 28 now, and I'm going to basically complete that so that you can show you how you can get all the endings in one playthrough, having done all quests. Thanks again for watching. Hopefully see you in the next one.